Anyone have any design, you can give it to me. Online, anyone have any design, you can give it to me. Let me check it here. 9 a.m. Offline, anyone have it, ma? Good. Huh. Oh, that's okay. No, not worries. Any other have it in Netlify? Yeah, laptop, it's okay. We'll see it later. Now, see, did you remember we did this similar? We did this similar one. Someone did it really nice. It is something like dummy JSON, I think. From dummy JSON API, he got it all the things and each one nicely placed. I don't know how many of you are trying. In last Saturday also, we had a session on revision. Saturday I had a doubt clearing session. I explained use state and use effect one more time. We did this one more time. Till now, whatever we have done, I want all of you to revise it nicely. Do practice. At least one simple app is enough. Now, this is really looking good. See, when I click on it, I'm getting a model. Only one mistake is if this model is having a background color white or something, it would look good. This is really good, na? See more. Even I did the same thing in the, same thing. I also did the same thing in the Saturday. Really nice one. And see, nice, good. Yasmin. Next one. Syed Sabiha. All. See, if I go here, all lunch items. Only lunch items are coming. Dinner items. Only dinner items are coming. How do you get it, sir? If you remember, I did OTT one, basic OTT. In that basic OTT one, we did something called week one, day one. Same thing, right? So here, one value is changing. What is the value that is changing? What is the value it is changing? That all, lunch, dinner, that value is there, na? That is changing. Another value also changing, the recipes. The recipes array. So two state values are there. One is recipes array. Another one is whether it is a all one or lunch one or dinner one. Right? Two state values are there. Header is there. See, it is having some kind of blinking effect. And he used tailwind. This is really good. She used a tailwind. And rating is there. And I gave this recipes one only as experiment. Really good. Next, the wooden spoon. See, I love that name. I love that how they maintained the. This is what. See, I can teach you React, but what about ideas? You should get na. I said it like make a some kind of recipes one. I will tell you how to do that. I will tell you how to do that particular one state and all. But that name, his wish, that design, his wish, the way they show, his wish na. Are you getting my point, ma? See, he printed all the recipes and time. I wanted to prepare this classic Margaret pizza instructions. See, so much beautiful. I'm getting instructions how to do that. This one is really good. Is it responsive? Right click, inspect. Sadly, this is not responsive. If in CSS, if we used something MDLG kind of things also, it would be so good. It should be in mobile screen also, it should be good. Except that remaining all perfect it is. Really good. See if, so now anyone can come to this website, can click on this, can able to see all the instructions. Are you getting my point, ma? Nice. Next, Ritesh. See, all are same. All are doing same, but each one have different presentation. Can you see that? This guy is having different presentation. He's like ingredients. He will give separate ingredients. An instruction. He will give separate. Okay, he is not giving instructions only. Ingredients he gave. And can you guess it? It is Bootstrap. He used Bootstrap. How do you know, sir? That button dekho, BTN primary. That is really good. In ingredients only, when I click na, instructions are also coming. Good. Now next. Some people in the online are doing it daily. That is really good. See, they did it in differently. They are showing directly ingredients and the instructions. Nice. If anyone implemented a nice search box also, that would be better. So people can search the name. Good. All the recipes are there. Now you can also prepare some apps like this, ma. Believe me, when you experiment and try to do, you will learn your doubts. You will get your doubts. But if you are a person like who not do anything, after certain time you are asking me, sir, what is state? Can't get it. Are you getting my point, ma? Your childhood stage is over. Now you are adult, so you should be responsible for everything. Now, good. Any more? Any more? Anyone have to show? Online, anyone more? No. Next. Let's focus on today class components. Go here. Let's start today class components. Today's class is mainly about understanding how this class components works. In reality, mostly people don't use class components recent times. But in like kind of 4 years back, these were the kings. Everywhere they used to use this only. Okay. Now I will tell you what is a class component and what is the difference between class component and functional component. You all know how to create functional components now. You all know how to do basic app in the functional components also. But today we will discuss it like how to do it the same thing in this class component, how this class components works. Okay. But mostly it's a theoretical one because if you go to the internet, if you go to official website react.dev, when I search for class component, defining a class component, now, now, where itself telling, can you read it, ma? Everyone see this? We recommend defining components as functions instead of classes. There are two ways possible. Components are two types. One is functional components, another one is class components. You can define a component as a function or a class. Okay. But both will be like same rules. Class also return something, function also should return something. But using function, it's easy. Now, what is the difference between class and function is before React 16, before React 16th version, React 16th version, only class components will have the state. That's why class components used to have called as stateful components. What they used to be called, ma? Stateful components. And functional components used to be called as stateless components. What are they called? Stateless components. When before React 16th version. In React 16, what happens, sir? They started hooks. And do you remember, ma, what is the hook you will use for state in function components? Use state. What is the hook you will use, ma? Use state. Sir, in functional components, sir, functions will support the use state. So use state started in React 16. Before that, na, function components में use state nahi hai. So because use state is not their function component not having any dynamic value. Only static purpose they used to use. That's why people will be like, no, we want dynamic. We will always use classes. But React 16, what it told, you can use it state value in the functions also. Use the use state. That's it. Everyone started using functions only. Because functions are easy to write than classes. When people are abandoning the classes, automatically React also in React 19th version, they said it like no need to use the classes. Is it clear, ma? Online, is it clear? Yeah, we'll discuss it, sir. How to write it. We can define, we can define components, components in two ways. One is functional components, also called stateless components, stateless components. It can have state using, it can have state using stateless components means there is no state. It can have state using use state hook, use state hook from React 16. 16 version. Stateless components means they are static values. Okay. Like anything like for example, sir, counter. In counter, count value, C value is changing. That is a state. Any value which is changing is a state. Now some values will be like they don't change. Okay, they will be fixed always. That kind of things are used to be defined by functions in olden times. But now we are even changing the function components also using use state. Next, class components, also called also called stateful components, stateful components since they have state object object by default. Sir, you don't need to take use state. Without taking use state, by default state object will be there in the class components. In class, you can use the state by default. I think most of you are .NET people, na? You guys will understand what is a class already. .NET Java people will understand class easily. Python people might feel difficulty because they are also functional programming. Now, let's see how to define example. Sir, can a class can return a value? Anyone? Will classes returns any value, ma? Will classes returns any value? I think you all do that now in your classes. Someone is saying yes, I don't know why, but normally classes don't return any value. Classes will have methods. Classes will have variables like or data members, whatever you call. Basically, class is used to store data members or data methods, some properties and some methods, right or not? These properties and methods are belongs to the object. That is a basic line of OOP. Classes cannot return directly the values. But sir, object means it should return, right? So that's why you will write, imagine I'm creating class, my component, you can put any name. Extends. This class notes is available in GitHub forever to us, or we need to write it them in notes. Guys, understand it. Whatever notes I am writing it here, that notes will be available in the GitHub. But I want you to write it also, because while writing it, you will remember them. Okay? Both I want. Now, class extends component. Anyone tell me what does it mean by extends? Inheritance. What is extends, ma? Inheritance. Okay. Sir, inheritance means if one class is there, if this class is having some methods, and I want this method to be executed in another class, then this class will extend the parent class. Now, this B extending the A, B extending the A, B is called child class, A is called parent class. If someone joined today also, they can understand it. Today we will learn class components today onwards only, no worries. Today we will learn class onwards only, no worries. Okay. Now I think you know base inheritance means parent class properties or methods child class will take. Now child class can call them. So online is voice is clear. Sometimes voice is not okay. Let me bring it up. Is it clear now online? Online, is it clear, ma? Very good. Now, one more time. Sir, normally class components cannot return any value. Class components cannot return any value. But component means it should render. What does it mean by component? Component means it will show some part of the UI, a reusable part of the UI. It will render something on the screen. Normally in functions, you will write return, na? But in class, you can't write return. So that's why we need one function to return. There is one method by default. There is one method by default, render. What is the method? Render. But where is this render? Render is inside one class called component. That is default class. There is one default class component. In that default class, one method is there, render. But I want this render method in my component. How do you do that? One more time. Everyone, see, there is one class, sir. Default class. What is the class name? In this class, there is one method render by default already there. They are already created by the React. Now I want to use this render method in my component. How do you do that? Extending na? If you want, if you have one method in one class, if you wanted to use it in another class, you will do inheritance na? That is why my component extending the component, which is by default already there. In that, there is one method render. Now, this render method is returning a value, same like function component. Say, I will say h1 hello world. Now, everyone tell me what it will print. Online, everyone tell me what it will print, ma? What is this component will print? Hello world. This is a basic example of class component. Everyone note it down. We will do today how the class components can be done. If anyone missed previous classes or the first one, you can get it all the things using the notes. Read the notes. Now, so means for returning, we are using extends and render method. For returning, I am using render method. For rendering, I am using extends component. Okay. Now, let's do one program. Everyone, tell me how to start it from starting onwards. Everyone. First, I'm going into React CD. React. Everyone, tell me, sir, how to start your React app? Most of the boys are not responding. npm create white @latest. Very good. It's simple, Ray. Like you should respond. You should speak. Anyway, half of the people are like how they respond in the pledge of school. They are just opening their mouth and closing. I want every one of you to respond. npm create. Perfect. Now go here. If you do this command, it will create one React app. Now I'm creating it. Class components demo or class demo. I will do class demo. I want React, JavaScript or JavaScript SWC. Both are fine to me. CD class demo npm install. It will install the app. Now, last but not least, npm run dev. Online or offline, anyone have any questions till now? I think everyone knows how to start the app now. Very good. I started the app, sir. Now go here. If you see React, in React class demo is there. Tell me where I have to go. Where I have to go, ma? SRC. In SRC, where I have to go? App.jsx. Sir, normally how you will create apps, sir? Here, you will write it like function, component name, app. Functions will return a value and you will write it here, some kind of div, or you can use this empty one. Anyone tell me what is this empty ones are called? Fragments. What are they called? Fragments. You can use a fragment or direct one and export default app. Now everyone tell me what is this component is called? Functional component or class component? What is this component is called? Functional component. Because you are using a function. How do you write a functional component? Function name, written because functions can default written. But I will create one more component here. Class component class component dot JSX class comp dot JSX. Someone is like, what's the difference between fragment and div in terms of usage? I think you guys already had an idea. If you don't do, let me give you. For example, here I am giving this class component is there. Imagine I'm writing it here. Hello world. If I write it here, h1, hello world, and h2, hello world. Now everyone see here, I have hello world h1 and h2 now. Now both of them inside one div na. Now this whole div, if you remember the React architecture is like first index.html is there. In this index.html, one div is there. What is the div ID? What is the div ID? In this div ID root, in this div ID root, this main.jsx will keep this app.jsx. So whatever you write it in app will come inside that root only na. So sir, one div is there, ID root. बॉडी के अंदर डिव आईडी रूट के अंदर और एक डिव, वो डिव के अंदर h1 h2, right or not? That is a syntax. See, right click, inspect. Now see here, div id root. Huh? Why it is not happening? App npm run dev. Now see, hello world is there. Now inside the body, inside the div id root, one div is there. Inside the div, you have h1 h2, right? But what if you put a fragment na? This will become a transparent div. That means directly inside the divide root only you will get h1 h2 now. Are you getting my point, ma? That is the difference between a fragment and a normal div. Any question? Online, any question, sir? No. And always remember this name, whatever you gave here, JSX name, app.jsx, and whatever the component name should be same. Should be same. Now, okay, sir. Let's write it, sir, here. Let's write it. Someone is just like when to ask, use fragment, when to div. Your wish. If you want nice CSS, for example, sir, ये पूरा div का CSS चाहिए हमको. Then use div. I don't want CSS. I want normally written. Then use fragment. Because if you give fragment, it's not an element. So you can't give CSS for that. Now, go here. Class component. Everyone see how to give class component. Class name. I will give component name class com because same name na extends component. Did I created? Oh, why it is coming it like this, Ray? Import component from the. Did I created this component, ma? No. Already this component is in the. Already this component is in the React. So I extended it and I export default class comp. Online, any doubts, ma? It should be same. Always component name and the JSX file name same. Now, sir, what it will return? To return something, it should use a method render. It should use a method render. Now, where is this render method? Render method is inside the component class actually. Okay, so you are just importing them. Now, in this render, I'm gonna use. Now, methods can return values now. Render method is returning value. Whatever it is written, it will render on the screen. New H1, I am class component. I am class component. It's returning one value, sir. I am class component. Now you guys tell me, which one do you think easy? This class component or this functional components? Both are doing same thing. Functional are easy. That's why people prefer functional. Okay. In olden times, there is no choice. In olden times now, you should use class component because class only have state. But now both are having state. Class is having default state, functions are having it like use state. So now in industry wide, outside, people use only functional components. If you go YouTube or anywhere, courses or anywhere, people will go with only functional components. But you should also learn class components. Most people will not teach the class components, but I'm teaching it because if you go to the company, what if that company is having code, old code? What if the company is using some legacy code, like some 4 years back code? Someone write it, they are continuing same code, sir. Then you should learn it. Are you getting my point, ma? Online, are you all getting my point? Now, both will have same performance. Performance wise, there is no difference. Both will work exactly same. In fact, actually, functional components are more better. Okay. Now, anyway, class component is there. So I will use here in the app import class component. Then I will write it here. I will write it here. Class component. Any doubts, my here? Online, any doubts here? I just printed the class component. Now you will get it on the screen. I am class component. One component, class component, is inside app component. Can anyone tell me one component inside and another component is called nested components? What is it called? Nested component. Sir, in some books now, they call it as embedded components. What are they called? Embedded component. It's another name for nested components. Embedded. Now, anyway, now, now everyone clear with how to create it your own? How to create it your own class component? Any questions in this? No. Sir, create a counter because we all know that counter is a basic thing you will create it. I will create one counter example using the class component. How do you do that? Do you all remember counter program? Ma? In counter program, how you will do? You will be like one C value will be there. C value initially 0 you will give. You will give one plus button. You will give one minus button. If anyone click this plus button, 0 value will become 1. If you click minus button, 1 will become 0. Do you all remember how to create this using the functional components? Do you all remember how to create the functional component by using this? That's a basic one, na? Using use state example, I told you also. counter program will be getting again and again and again. This is one of the simple program, but most interesting one. We already did that. Now, sir, can we write app.jsx as class component? Yes, your wish. I'm not writing it because I want to show you one function, one class. That's it. Your wish. Now, sir, same thing. I will try using class. How do you do? Anyone who is having knowledge in classes can tell me, if you want to initialize one value in a class, if you want to initialize one value in a class, where you will do that? Constructor. Where you will do? Constructor is a default method in a class. Constructor is a default method in a class which will be invoked automatically. Will you call constructor? No. You will never call constructor. Whenever you initialize the object, automatically constructor will be invoked, and mostly constructors are used to initialize the default values. Any doubts, ma? No. Sir, let's write it here, constructor. If you start a constructor, sir, if you start a constructor, normally constructor will take the props. Constructor will take the, am I passing any props here? Am I passing any props here? No. Normally, you know props, na? Props means parent component will send it the value to the child component. I'm not sending any values. If I send any values, then automatically first thing it will call the props and constructor, and constructor will receive the props. Okay. Now, second logic here, constructor should call first parent component constructor. Every child constructor should call the parent class constructor. How do you do that? Using super method. What you will use, ma? Super. If you write the super, automatically it will call the parent. Till now, no doubts. Now, next one. Sir, if anyone don't know, one more time I'm telling it. This is OOPS concept. Parent class, child class, child class inherit properties from parent class. If you are invoking child class, first child class constructor will be called. This constructor will call the parent class constructor. That is the first thing you should do. How do you do that? Using super method. Using super method. Next only it should work. Next, I'm creating state equals to, state is an object, count 0. Acha, anyone tell me what is it mean by this? Within the class, this is a current calling object. This is a current calling object. Because using this particular class, imagine I can create 1,000 objects now, right or not? Using this one class, like, sir, each time you are calling one component, time one object will be created. So automatically, each time one object is coming, each time it will have a state value. So that the object is this. This means current calling object, that particular object. Okay. Now this dot state in this class, state value is a object. State value is a, what are the values inside that object? Count. What is the value? Count. Count ka value is 0. Object have count. Count ka value is, anyone tell me how to print them here? I want to print a paragraph. How do you print a JavaScript inside the JSX? curly braces. In curly braces, this dot, state dot, count. This dot, state dot. Did I take it any use state here? Did I define any state here? Like, did I tell it what is it mean by state here? No. But class components by default know what is it mean by state. State bole to value that changes. Every time when you change a state value, your component re-renders one more time. And that logic already class components knows it. Functional components को मालूम नहीं है वो, तो उसके लिए हम use state use करता उधर. Is it clear? If anyone tried at least one program using use state, you will understand this easily. Already half of the people are sleeping. Wake up. When you do functional components, you will do use state. When you do class components, you will do this dot state inside the constructor. This is the main difference. Instead of using use state, we are using state. Correct. Because इसको use state का जरूरत नहीं है. External use state import करना जरूरत नहीं है. Online, is it clear, ma? Yeah. Now I will do more interesting. I will put one button. Plus. If anyone click this button, on click, this dot set state. Did I created any method like set state? But by default have it. So if you remember, if you use use state, you will get two things. One is state value, another one is one method to update the state. Right or not? State value and one method. Now, using that method only you will update the state na. But here वो method state value दोनों directly आता. Now I will write this dot set state. What is the state value? State value will become this dot set state dot count plus 1. Anyone tell me this dot state dot count क्या है? What is the value of this dot state dot count now? 0. Then what it will become if I click this plus button? What it will become? बराबर. Anyone tell me minus button? Minus button, same logic na? Here -1. Anyone tell me reset button? Reset button. Instead of writing this all, just I will give 0 na? Directly 0 आता. Now go here. Sir, 0 is there. Plus is there. Plus. Oh, why it is not incrementing? Plus, minus, reset. It should do console. Taken an object instead of variables to update the or function that returns the object of state variables. Look here, takes an object of state variables. Function that returns an object. Set state. What is the set state is returning? It is taking the values, state. Hmm, maybe it is expecting an object. Let me try with this. It's expecting it should return some object. So inside this object, I will say this dot state dot count is JSX must return only one parent element. Obviously, mhm, by class components is not returning it. Are they expecting it to return something like this? Go here. No. Go here. React dev class components. Class components. State in class component. Go down. Go down. Good. It is returning same. Our logic only. Then why it is not returning here? Count. Go here. Braces. Okay. It will work now. Let's go here. So it is expecting you to return an object instead of giving in a value. See, it's working. Simple. Go here. Now count. Count is this dot state dot count minus one. Simple. Then here count is 0. Now everyone see, if I click plus button, then it will take it like set state. Set state is returning a new state value. Every time state value is an object now. Every time state value is an object now. See, I am returning a new object value. In that new object value, what is count value? What is count value, sir? This dot state dot count plus one. This dot state dot count plus one. Currently, this dot state dot count is 0 now. So 0 plus 1, 1. Same thing. When you click minus button, it is taking count value is this dot count dot minus 1. Simple. Are we assigning count in return object? Yes. You all remember what is state ma? Whenever you call this method, automatically it will assign. If you remember, like for example, I will create one button on click. Even using the use state also, I did the same experiment. I don't know whether you remembered or not, but I will show you now. Set state. Anyone can answer count. Now, anyone tell me, if I click this button, last button, if I click the last button, what the count value will become? If I click the last button, what is the count value will become? That's it. The count value will be updated. Not only updated, it will render the screen so that you will see in the answer the count value as a Prasad. So you are just giving the value only. Na? That is the logic of state. The logic of state is to giving the value and rendering the screen one more time. Simple. Any questions? Same thing I can do using the functional component also. If I do one functional component, fun comp dot JSX RFCE. Here I will do class. Sorry. Here I will do const count comma set count equals to use state 0 paragraph count button plus on click sets count C+1. Sorry, not C+1. Count +1. I'm sorry. Yeah. Now see, everyone, see this logic, ma? What is the difference between class and functional components? You can understand by comparing them side by side. Everyone see this logic? In both, in both of the components, in both of the components, initial count value is 0. Initial count value is 0. But how did you give count value 0 in the functional component? You used the hook called useState. You used a hook called useState. But in class component, where did you give? Inside the constructor. Here you write directly this dot set state. This dot state. Here you directly write this dot state na. State is a keyword directly already there. Did I imported anything? No. Did I imported? No. Same logic. Same logic. Here they go. Here, sir, whenever you click this plus button, you are using set count. You are using set count is also given by useState only, na? But here, whenever you are clicking plus button, you are using set state. What you are using? Did I define set state? No. By default, class components already have a method also set state. Class components have state and set state by default. Okay. So that's why they are stateful components. But functional components are not having them. So you will import them. Online, is it clear, ma? Online, is it clear, ma? That's why I write same program 2 times. I write same program left and right in function and class so that you will understand work. Class components क्या है, functional components क्या है. But as per the difficulty status, functional components are very easy to write than the class components. That's why people are preferring only functional components nowadays. Because here you need to define something called like this. But in here it's very easy. And in class components now you need to use one method called render. For using that method render, you need to extend something called class component. But here कुछ extension नहीं चाहिए because functions directly return values. Performance wise, both are same. Exactly they will work. Because I don't know whether you know this or not. In JavaScript, actually every class is a function. That's why they both are same performance wise. Any questions you have, you can ask me. Online, any questions? Huh? What someone is asking? What? Kuch bhi, you can ask anything. There is no problem with it. Now, next. Sir, did you remember? Someone is like, which one is mostly frequently used? That's what I'm telling. Most frequently or everywhere, 99.9% of the times, people use only functional components. Okay. But why are you teaching class components? Because in olden times, 99% of the times, people used class components, olden times. Now people are using 99% of the times functional. So if you see old code, you should not get confused. That's why I'm teaching it. Now, someone, count versus count equals to what? Sir, instead of giving count, this dot state, we can give this dot state dot count. No, it won't work, Shanur. Okay. Because you are returning this directly object, na? So you should give value as count only. Instead of, see, no one will write inside the variable again this. What do you think about it? This is not good, na? Are we setting or sending? We are actually replacing. We are not setting, we are not sending. We are replacing the values. We are replacing the old object with new object. When I change the zero value as Prasad, when I set the zero value as Prasad, I am not kind of, sending the zero value to Prasad. I'm not setting the zero value to Prasad. I'm actually replacing a pura code. Hatao. Count zero. Chhod do. Count Prasad. Replace karo. That's what state will do, basically. Any doubts? State will not update. State will replace. That's an interesting concept. Now, okay, sir. Sir, you remember hooks in functional component? You used use state. Same way, you used another hook also. Did you remember what is another hook we discussed? In functional components, we discussed one more hook now. What is that? Use effect. What is that? What is the use of use effect? It will be called automatically if you remember. Whenever function loads, automatically one method will be called, that is called use effect. In that use effect only you will give all your code. Last ones, boys, are you all getting my point, ma? I don't know, some people's face were like, what is React only? Are you all getting my point till now? Tomorrow I will check everyone's till now whatever the projects you have done. Everyone should put it in Netlify only. Everyone, I will ask one by one, especially offline. If you are absent tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I will ask. Okay. Because I just want to know at least till use effect you guys get it or not. Now, okay. Sir, use effect is used for side effects. Sir, same way, what if class component will do? Imagine in class component auto calling chahiye automatically. For that, you will have something called life cycle methods. I will use. Now, here, counter in class. I will just write it. What's tomorrow task? I will give you. I will give you task. Don't worry. Sir, in class components, you can note it down, ma. In class components, there are some methods. There are some methods which will be called, which will be called automatically, automatically at different stages, at different stages, automatically called at different stages. of its life cycle. We are also having our life cycle now. We have childhood, we have teenage, we have young age, middle age, old age, right or not? Sir, at different points, we will get different things automatically. When you are child age, your personality will be different. Automatically, when you come to teenage, you will get your mustache, you will get your beard. When you come to your young age, automatically your voice will change. When you come to your middle age, automatically you will get it some kind of things. When you get old age, automatically you will become crippled or some kind of things happen, right? Same way, component also in its life cycle, some things will happen for component. Like whenever component starts, it has three stages. There are three stages for a there are three stages for a component. First one, mounting stage. What is it, ma? Mounting means starting. That that only the component is starting. Exact, that is the point. The component is starting stage. Second one, updating means component is changing. Okay, updating phase, changing state values, changing state values. Last one, unmounting, it's like a dying component is, kind of unmounted. Unmounting means like I have three components. One component, I'm going home, about, contact, three pages are there. I'm going to about component. That means home component is dead now. About component is getting born. When I go from about page to contact page, again about component dead, go to the contact component. That is called unmounting stage. Unmounting stage. Kind of components death. Now ending stage. It's kind of. Now, what are the methods it will be called automatically at the different stages? I will show you. These things were highly useful, but now we are not using them actually. Now we are using different hooks are there for everything. Sir, everyone tell me, you are using class components. First, when a class comes, what is the method which will be called? Class got run. When class runs, what is the first method that will run automatically? What is that method? Constructor. What is that method, ma? Constructor. Will you call constructor, sir? No, constructor will be called automatically. Constructor. It is the default method that will be called, that will be called automatically when component starts. Now, next, next, get derived state, derived state from props. This is a method name. Okay, don't worry. This is a method name. It will be called when components props changes. Sir, if you remember, basically when your component starts now, Component should receive all the props now from the parent. When component starts, component should receive all the props. Now at that time, this method will be run. This is not a rule like every time you should give these methods. But if you give this method, automatically it will call this method whenever you give components props. Next, next, render, render. It is called to render the component UI. Just now only we write render na. You remember render just now only we write. Inside the render method only na you write return. In class component inside render only na you wrote return. That render method will be called automatically. Sir, first constructor sir. Constructor के बाद it will receive props sir. Props के बाद after receiving props it will go to the render and it will print everything into the screen. Right or not? It's printing sir. Now after printing it, it will write it component did mount. It's like a confirmation message. When component completely rendered in screen, component mounting stage is over. Yes, component का starting stage हो गया. Someone born, component clearly coming to the screen. At the time it will come. Called when component render component render is completed. Is completed. Is completed. Simple. Next, same way, updating stage. Sir, I'm clicking zero value is there. I click the button plus. When I click the button plus, component will get update na again. Zero value is becoming one na. Sir, when zero value is becoming one, what are the things it will do? First, when zero value become one, again, again, it will check props. Again, this method will be called. It will check for the props. Next, after checking the props, it will call one method should component update. Should component update. Called before updating. Before updating state value. State value. State value. It should return true. Sir, what if sir this method is returning false? It will not update. Return true. It should return true. Now, okay, sir. Now that one is giving permission. You can return. Once it can say is return. Now it will again. Sir, zero value changes to one. It should show the screen na. Changed value. That one value should show the screen na. That means to showing to screen again render will call. Again render will be done. Again render will be done. Last one. Same like component mounting is over. It will come one function. Component did did update component update भी हो गया. Did update. It is called when components update is completed. last. Unmounting. Component did unmount. When unmounting is done, it will work this automatically. Did unmount. It will be called when component unmount is done. Is done. In class components, people used to use life cycle methods. Now, actually, for the same life cycle methods, we will use the hooks now. We will use different hooks for same life cycle methods. We will use something kind of, instead of component did mount, instead of render, we use it sometimes use effect. Use effect will also do this component did mount cover only. Whenever you update, then also use effect will come. So use effect contains component did mount and component did update also. Okay. So like this, different hooks are there which will work it in the same way. These are called internally of use state in functional components. Dekho, these are not there in the functional components. These lifecycle methods are there in the class components and they will be called automatically at different situation. I will show you now. I will show you now. If I go here, see, I am writing one method. Everyone see, I'm writing one method. Component did mount console.log. Mounting is done. Mounting is done. Or I will write it simply same logic. Component did mount called. Same way. Should component update. Should component should component update. देखो console.log should component update. Now component did update. Console.log component did update. Component did update. And here render also I will write console.log render called. Render called. Render called. Now see interesting point. I go to this website, refresh the screen. Now everyone, because strict mode, I will first remove that strict mode, right? It's irritating. I think I told you all strict mode will call it like 2 times everything. And you can remove this because in production strict mode will not be there. Now everyone see. Okay, constructor I forgot. Where is this constructor? Console.log constructor called. Now everyone in the online, tell me online or offline. What is the first method it called? What is the first method it called? Constructor. After constructor, what it called? After render, what it called? Did I call any one of them? Did I call any one of them? Nahi. You don't need to call life cycle methods. वो default call होता. पहला first constructor. Constructor में they will initialize any values. Next, showing on the screen. They should show screen na? To show the screen, they will use render. What they will use? Render. Render will show the screen. Nice. After everything is rendered into screen, then it is like a confirmation. Like when you done whole your work, you will say work is done, like that na. When your whole work is done, one method is called component did mount. Did I call any one of them? No, they are called automatically at different stage. Any doubts here? No. I am updating it, sir. If I click this plus, what will happen? If I click this plus button, what will happen, ma? It will come one na. Now, see, first, see, component should mount, should update is called. But is it returning any value? It's returning undefined. That's why it's like, sir, whenever you increase a value, I am updating a state. When it is updating, पहला वो function call करता. What is the function? Should component update. उसको पूछ रहे component update करना जरूरी नहीं है. Then if that function is saying it, yes, update, then only it will go for update, else it will not update. So I should say here, should component update, I should return true. If I return true now, then it will update. Like first, go here one more time. Constructor called, render called, component did mount called, plus button. Then what it called next time? Should component update. After that, which one it called? Render. After that, which one called? Component did update. Doubt? Doubt, ma? No? Sir, when you are leaving these components, automatically component did unmount also called. Online, is it clear, ma? Online, is it clear? Lifecycle methods are the default methods present in the class components, which are used to be called automatically at different stages of class components. What is the use? Sir, whenever my component completely came into my screen, I want to show one pop-up. I will use it component did mount. Whenever my component is updating, I want to show one before only. I want to show one box. Do like for example, I'm deleting something. If I delete button, delete will change na. Directly it will delete na. But instead, I will put one pop-up. Do you really want to delete? Where do you put that? I will put it in should component update. If anyone click there, yes, then only I will do that. See, do some kind of nice logics. See here, I will do one logic. Everyone, dekho. If I will ask it like alert. First, I will ask const result equals to alert confirm. Do you really want to update? Now, if that guy says yes, then it will return true. What if that guy says no? What it will return? False. But interesting point is, I don't need to call this method. It automatically call hota. Now dekho, whenever someone is coming, now here someone came this website and clicking this plus button, it is asking me, do you really want to update? They call that method? No, because वो method पहला state update करने का पहला call होता automatically. So I am using that. I'm using the opportunity. Then if I say yes, it will update. If I say no, is it updating zero value? No, it won't update. Someone, sir, why are these functions not available in functional component? Because in real time, that's why in functional components we use hooks. What we will use, ma? You know why these are not available in functional components? Because this all functions are inside this component class. Where are they? Component class. This class is extending component class. That's why they are getting. Function cannot extend the component class na. That's why udhar nahi hai. It is a child class. So automatically parent class methods it can use. But function kaisa use karta? So function mein nahi rehta wo. That's why in functional components we use hooks. For every method we use here, every life cycle method, there are alternative hooks. In hooks chapter, I will tell you what is class hook, what is the class life cycle method, what is the parallel hook. I will tell you one by one in hooks chapter. Okay. But a simple note, in functional components, last note, in functional components, these life cycle methods are not available. Instead, we use different hooks, replacing them. Simple. Okay. Yeah, that's it. This is the basic story of class components. Basic class component. How do you use state in class component? How do you use life cycle methods? In interview, they will ask you questions on what is class component, or what is the difference between stateful and stateless components? What is the difference between functional components and class components? How do you declare state in the class component? How do you update state in the class component? Last but not least, what are life cycle methods? These questions will be there in your interview. Okay. Now, today's task. Tomorrow also class component. No, it's just one day class. Tomorrow we will discuss something called context API. So now today's target, everyone. Today's one. What you can do. You all remembered we did color change. Did you all remember real-time colors we did, ma? Few days back, I did one task like where you can update the colors using the state. Okay, I will show you one more time. So many people did that also. Colors, something similar, this real-time colors. Now here, whenever updating the color here, automatically colors are updating. If you want, this code is available in functional component. I want you to do the same thing, same program. Whatever you guys already did there, same program, but using class components. Do the same program, what you did. I want you to do it in the class component, real-time colors concept. Okay. Use Tailwind for better CSS. That is the today's task. Every day I give tasks and I want you to submit it. Tomorrow I will check everyone's task offline, especially. That's it for today. Thank you, Alma.